welcome back to a new vlog. I am just in the mood to do everything. I just listened to Christmas music for the first time this year, and it just put me in such a good mood. I don't know why that's making me emotional. I also sound awful because I have my allergies have just kicked in. So okay, I feel like there's so much to say. Okay, this week I am going to be going to Disney, and so I want to film a little bit of it. I know I used to do whole vlogs of it, a lot more. It's probably not gonna look like that. It's probably gonna look like what my other travel videos have looked like, just a little compilation of fun little clips. To get in the mood for that, I'm watching my favorite YouTuber. They just went to Disney recently, and so she has a packing video, and I'm about to be packing, so I've saved it. So I've waited to be in the mood to pack, which I know at some point you do just need to pack, and you don't need to wait to be in the mood. But I like to wait until I'm in the mood and excited to pack, and today is the day! On a sad note, which I will quickly talk about this, touch on it, and then move on, because I refuse to have it bring me down any more than it already has. I did not get the job that I thought I was gonna get, so it seems like I might be spending the holiday season unemployed. And the holidays are my favorite time of year because it's just so much fun back to back to back to back to back, that I don't want to ruin that by being disappointed that I don't have a job. I want to apply, of course, and try to get a job, but I don't want to let it get me down, because it really did. It really stracked me. So, okay, that's all I'm going to say on it so I don't get down about it. I was very shocked though. Other little update, I have been having my coffee only with oat milk, no sugar. Who am I? Who is she? She sounds like a nice person. A little bit kooky for having black coffee. My trick is, I've been putting cinnamon in the grounds. Alright, so we've got some packing chaos here. I've got my shirts, pants and shorts, because it's really kind of like an in-between weather situation. So I've got a rain jacket, a very light jacket to throw in, a bag, and then we're gonna have we're gonna go to the Christmas event, and so we're gonna Disney bound. So I'm gonna go as a Cinderella kind of thing. It's as much as I could do on the budget I have, which means I'm just picking something from my closet. I still need to wash laundry, probably just one load, since I washed everything before I went to Taylor Swift, and that wasn't that long ago. And then I'll get pajamas from that. And some of this needs to be oh my gosh, this needs to be steamed so bad.
Sunshine temps drop to the 80s, less humidity. Watch out for a thunder bumper this afternoon. We just might get it.
Captain Jack Sparrow, speak up, or do you fancy a swim with Davy Jones?
Drinking or smoking allowed in the theater, and you can take
Hello, from the future. First day, we went to Magic Kingdom, which is always such a fun way to start any trip because I just really feel like your trip starts the moment that you see the castle at the end of Main Street. Like, seeing the castle for the first time is always like, I have arrived at Disney, so that's always the best moment. I had so many firsts on this trip. It was really amazing. I have gone, I feel like, so many times between whenever I went on my honeymoon and then like since then. So starting from like 2018, I've gone to Disney or Disneyland like 4 or 5 times. Now that I have done some of these checklist items for me, things that I've been waiting on for years, I don't know if I need to go back again for a while. It was so exciting to do some of these things that we have been waiting on for years, like Tiana's Bayou. I've been so excited about because Splash Mountain was one of my favorite rides, but its theming obviously was not appropriate for like our modern day situation, and I just feel like Tiana doesn't have a lot of representation in the park, so I was so excited about Tiana's Bayou. So I got to do that, and it is just so crazy to me because I had ridden Splash Mountain in Walt Disney World and in Disneyland. And in Disneyland, is a little side story, like all of my friends were like, I'm not going in the front, I'm not going in the front. And I'm like, guys, it's not a big deal. Like, you don't really get that wet. And my experience had been Walt Disney World, where you don't get that wet. Disneyland is an entirely different ball game. I got soaked, like down to like my, I mean, TMI, but down to like my undergarments. It was during times whenever you needed to mask, and my mask got soaked. I think I had to borrow somebody else's mask just because I couldn't like breathe out of mine because it was wet. That brings us to the modern day Tiana's Bayou in Walt Disney World, and I obviously familiar with Splash Mountain. You get so much more wet on Tiana's Bayou compared to Splash Mountain. PSA, it was so bad. I wouldn't say that like my undergarments got wet. Like, I wasn't as uncomfortable as I was compared to like Splash Mountain in Disneyland, but it was like a significant change. I will say that. I will say, as far as what I enjoyed about Splash Mountain and the difference in Tiana's Bayou and what I didn't like about Tiana's Bayou, I liked the anticipation of Splash Mountain. It was like a fever dream. Like, you knew, like, the song is telling you what comes up must come down, and you know that this drop is gonna come, and so they fake you out with the drop over and over again on Splash Mountain. And it just builds that anticipation, and you're being pursued by the fox and the bear. In Tiana's Bayou, there's no real villain. You're not being chased up a mountain to then have to go down a mountain. So that was a bit disappointing. I really just wish they would have included Dr. Facilier in the ride. I don't care that he's not around by the end of Princess and the Frog. That's the reason people give for Dr. Facilier not being in Tiana's Bayou, but I just don't think it's a good reason. I don't want to be one of those people that just is so anti-change, because I was really excited for the change. And I don't want it to change back to Splash Mountain. I don't want to, don't break what wasn't broken. Like, it was broken. It wasn't a good theme anymore. It needed to change. I think it needs to change again. Not necessarily away from Tiana, but I just think if they include the plot of having like some sort of villain or antagonist in there would really help. And it would just add to what is already a great ride. Another new thing that we got to try this time was riding Tron. And Tron was really fun. I guess it did feel a little short, and I didn't feel like it had like a ton of plot. like to it, which I think are just things that separate Disney rides. It's just like the plot, like you're racing against each other, but it's like that's not like a ton of actual plot. The ride itself was really cool. We got to ride it at night, which was absolutely an experience. Definitely a beautiful ride. I don't necessarily, for the amount of time it took to build it, like I don't necessarily think the like anticipation was equal to how good the ride was. It was gonna be a super long wait. I can't remember how long. Maybe it was like a 2-hour wait, and it ended up only being like 45, 60 minutes. It wasn't bad at all. I was really impressed with how fast we got through that line. And it's also funny that like me in the future is now sick whenever me in the past was sick. So it's just my allergies are so stupid and last so long throughout the year. Out of this entire trip, we got to ride everything I would have wanted, except for we didn't ride the Frozen ride, which is a bummer. I do love that ride. But otherwise, we got to ride almost everything. We had a, is it Genie Plus or something? The Genie Pass or Genie Plus. We bought whatever the new version of the Lightning Lanes is. And that was, luckily it was part of a Christmas gift for me from my sister. So to me, it was worth it, but I don't know cost-wise. You know, I didn't have to spend the money, so I don't know if it was worth the price, but it was worth it for the experience. And the only reason we didn't get to ride the Frozen ride was because it broke while like we were walking up to our Genie Plus pass. Oh, one of my favorite things that they have it in Magic Kingdom, and they have it in, oh, okay, I was just thinking Downtown Disney, and that's not right, but it's, I haven't even gone whenever it's been called Downtown Disney, but that's all my brain was giving me. So in Disney Springs and in Magic Kingdom, they have these fairy lights in the trees at night, and it's one of my favorite things in the parks. They just like twinkle and sparkle, and to me it looks like they're like fairies in the trees. I don't know, I love it. That's one of my favorite little details. Lastly, to end off Magic Kingdom, and I'll try to talk less about other parks, but we had a great view of the fireworks. Watching the fireworks this time, I want to say the last time I was there, they didn't have Happily Ever After, which is their fireworks show. It just didn't make as much of like an impact on me. It wasn't as like emotional. This time around, Happily Ever After was back. It's been back for a minute, but I finally got to watch it again after a while. It was just beautiful. Like my mom and my sister and I were just like holding each other watching it and like weeping. And for the first time, maybe ever in my life, I don't know if I saw it whenever I was a little girl, but I got to see Tinkerbell fly. And so out of all of the trips that I've been on since 2018, she hasn't flown. And so getting to see her fly was amazing. And it just seals off, like to me, seals the deal that like whenever you have like a perfect experience, like I don't feel like I need to go back for a while because this trip was so perfect. And I got to do almost everything I wanted to do that I'm like, it just feels tied up with a little bow. Now we're into day 2, Hollywood Studios. We had, oh my goodness, this is the whole story of the entire day. We had the best view of the fireworks. For one, I mean, Happily Ever After is such a beautiful show, but I love Fantasmic. It's so good. I didn't watch it for the first like 2 or 3 trips that I went on, but it easily became one of my favorites. It's so good. To me, it is like the ultimate vision of like what Disney is. Like it's so 90s Disney with modern characters added in that just make it even better. Moving on to Epcot. Probably my favorite park out of all of them. I know how amazing Magic Kingdom is, but Epcot, man, it's just so good. So we played a game on the way, and it's basically where you build your ultimate park. You can only pick, say, 3 rides. You can only pick 3 foods. You can only pick, say like 1 show, 1 fireworks show, 1 parade, things like that. Almost all of mine come from Epcot. Like, Epcot is my perfect park. Whenever you get stuck on a ride, sometimes it can be a little scary, it can be uncomfortable or annoying. It's a disruption, right? But there are some rides, whenever you get stuck on them, it is so exciting because you get to see so many little details that you wouldn't have noticed before if you weren't stuck there for 3 minutes. Some of the rides that we got stuck on were Peter Pan's Flight, Haunted Mansion, and Spaceship Earth. I don't know. Really, it's just turning something that could be a negative and could, ruin your day, ruin your experience or whatever. But actually, a win is a win in my book because it's so fun looking at all the little details. Like, we got stuck in the London area of Peter Pan's Flight whenever you're flying over London and you see all the cars zipping around. It was so pretty. And you just get to sit there and listen to the music. I don't know, it was a vibe. You're out of the heat, you're sitting down, you're not standing in line. Like, there's definitely benefits to it. It was my first time seeing Moana's Way of Water, and it was so neat. It's a wonderful way, again, to cool down, to just have another place to like sort of chill for a bit. And like, you can tell that, kids love it. I would have loved it. I loved it as an adult and I had to love it as a kid. It was, I don't know, I love Moana so much. It was really magical, and there's so many little hidden little gems. If you look in the rocks, you'll find hidden characters, little Easter eggs. Really a great addition to the park. I don't think they were doing very much with that area of the park before, and so it's just a beautiful addition. In Epcot as well, we did the passport little thing. You can buy it. You go around to each pavilion and you find the kid cot area, and there's a worker who is like an exchange worker, because not all of them are students, I don't think, but there's an exchange person from that country, and so you get to talk to them, depending on their personalities. Some talk more than others, some say are at the start of their shift and some are at the end of their shift. You get to talk to them about their country and ask them questions. Next day, Jollywood Nights. It was so fun. It was my first time doing Jollywood. I've done other parties in the past, mainly the Christmas party. Have I done that once or twice? It was so fun. You get to, we Disney bounded, which was, I just felt like a princess, right? And then there's so many photo pass opportunities that are like, there's not like a lot of lines, like maybe more throughout the rest of the night, but we hit the photo passes like first, and there weren't hardly any lines, and they just took their time with you. And I literally felt like I was getting to pose as a princess, because being a cast member was always a dream of mine whenever I was younger. I applied for the DCP and I got like a costuming gig, so I didn't end up going because I was married. Long story short, didn't go. But being a cast member and being friends with a character was always a dream of mine, so getting to feel like I got to be a princess was so fun. Highly recommend. There were incredible shows. I don't recommend riding any of the rides while you're at Jollywood. There's so much to do. It is jam-packed. My sister had us going like pew, 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 pew. It was just like a full itinerary, right? We had amazing like cast member interactions that night. We met somebody who like runs all of the photo passes, I want to say for all of the parks, but at the very least for Hollywood Studios. And so we were spending a lot of time at photo passes, and so we would run into him, and he, while we were in line or not in line, he would sit and talk to us for like 5 to 20 minutes, sometimes like half an hour. And it's like, you know, he's obviously working that night, but it was so fun. And the cast members are obviously like, they're just, it's a collection of people who all love Disney. And that's one thing that I love about the parks in general, is that you can, it's just easy to strike up conversations and make friends because you're all there for a unified purpose of your love of Disney and childhood whimsy. And so you already have things in common. You know, you meet somebody in line and it's like, well, who's your favorite character? And then you can have like a 10-hour conversation just from like that one question. Like some of my favorite characters that we've already like hit. So we've already seen Moana's Way of Water. We've already seen Tiana's Bayou. Like those are two of my favorite characters. Well, I not only got to see Tiana perform at Jollywood Nights, I also got to see Belle perform in her Christmas dress, which I'm obsessed with. And she sings As Long as There's Christmas. And I have the footage of it. I wish I could share it with you, but I can't because of copyright and things like that. But like, oh my gosh, this was a perfect trip. It just makes me so happy. And that's one of my favorite movies, is like Christmas movies. And I hadn't watched it in years, so I went back and watched it. If you watched this, you know, past year's Vlogmas, I wrapped presents and watched it, and I love it. It holds up. I love Fife. I have a pin of I can't remember what is his name, Maestro, and that's a crazy pin to have. That's a crazy like niche character, and I love that pin. I would never trade that pin. That's my pin. But it's so cool. I don't know, maybe I can find it and show you guys. I thought it would take me a lot longer to do my makeup, you know, that I would all line up perfectly, but I talked so much so far. Oh, so my outfit for that night was kind of a mix. It was supposed to be like Cinderella themed because of the color of that blue skirt, but I realized that the shape of it is a lot more like when the Little Mermaid, whenever she goes into town, and I want to say like the kiss the girl scene, I think she's wearing the same outfit, but that's what I realized it looks like. Oh yeah, so many amazing shows. There's also like the ice skating, which was beautiful. Everybody was so talented.
Well, she loves to decorate for Christmas. Oh, I can't wait to see the look on her face.
You can put up all these decorations before Mickey gets here and surprise him with a whole house full of Christmas cheer.
That's a little melodramatic, don't you think?
I'm being melodramatic.
I'm glad you agree with me.
Next day, we went resort hopping, which is one of my favorite kind of free activities to do. And then that night we got to go and eat at GCO, and we stopped by a bunch of the different zoo areas that they have around that area. I had never seen a running giraffe, and that was so neat to see. And then we got to see so many baby zebras on this trip. So not only here, but then in the next day. We went park hopping and celebrated my sister's birthday. That was what this whole trip was about. For the rules of park hopping, we had to buy a food item, a drink item, and we had to ride a ride. That was the rules for her 4-park hop challenge. So we started out in Animal Kingdom. The animals were so active that morning. It was so beautiful. Mandrills are usually really elusive, but we even got to see them for a minute. They sort of ran off, but there was one just like sitting there on a stump. Another baby zebra, like I mentioned before. And I swear, 90% of my time in Animal Kingdom is just looking for Divine. She's so cool, and I think I've seen her. But I want to say, out of the times that I've been in Animal Kingdom, I've seen her like 3 out of the 4 times that I've been. I'm looking. Oh, and there was, like I said, so many new things this trip. It was such a genuinely like perfect trip. So I had never seen the Dapper Dans perform. I had never seen the Main Street Philharmonic, and we got to do that. I had never ridden the Main Street Trolley, and we got to do that. That was fun, but it did take a minute. And lastly, to cap off the evening, we got to watch Smash Mouth perform. I didn't know the lead singer had died, but apparently he did. So, like, rest in peace, the lead singer of Smash Mouth. They were awesome. I didn't get to watch them, but we heard them. We weren't sitting over there because obviously, like, it was pretty packed, and it was so funny to me hearing the people who did the music for Shrek are performing in Disney. Because if you don't know, a bunch of the people who were working at Disney left to go to Universal and make Shrek, and they were making fun of animated movies at Disney by making Shrek. So I thought that was hilarious. The tea was piping that night.
Oh my goodness, you must be sisters.
It was probably my favorite Disney trip I have ever gone on, and like I don't need to go back personally for like quite a while because that was just so perfect, and I'll just leave the memories as they were on that trip. Although I think I've now heard that my sister wants to go back for her birthday this year, but I may have to skip out on that trip. It does cost quite a bit of money, and that is with my mom and my sister, you know, helping me go, especially because I was unemployed. And so they put a lot of their funds towards me going by way of like, here's for your Christmas, here's for your birthday. I am very appreciative of them helping me go, and I really, really needed it, honestly. I wasn't feeling particularly great, not only having allergies, as you heard at the beginning of the video, but also like just with unemployment. I was so disappointed that I didn't get that job. And like, I think some of that still remains, even though things are settled for me, like that job would have been a huge pay increase. And so I just wasn't feeling 100%, and going to Disney and having a magical experience just gave me the like perspective shift that things are gonna be okay, that even though life is difficult at this moment in time, it's not permanent. And I've seen, this will make me emotional, like I spent my honeymoon in Disney in 2018, and then I went in 2023, I want to say like a month or two after, maybe a month after my divorce was finalized. And so that was a really hard trip to go on, and to be in those spaces and exist in those spaces alone. To go this time, even though I was unemployed, be proud of where I was at in life and how far I've come since 2018. Because this was 2024. And that's 6 years of history. It's insane to me. Life goes by so fast, and something like Disney being like these chapter bookmarks in my life. The next time I go, I've got to have like a really big life thing going on. You know, I've got to like be about to get married again. I've got to be about to having a kid. I've got to have a big, you know, promotion, or, you know, book a really big acting gig to be able to go back, because, you know, I've got to mark that huge life moment. Disney to me is a culmination of so much. It's a celebration of culture, of childhood, food, imagination, and the magic that exists in the world, and the magic that exists only in our minds. And all of that mixed together is what life is about. And Disney gives you a moment to exit the real world and just exist in beauty. I love it. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it was fun. It was so much fun for me going. It was so much fun for me editing. It was so much fun for me talking about right now. So thank you for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below if you have any Disney memories, whether that's at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or one of the other various parks, or just your favorite like Disney movie, or, you know, favorite Disney moment, favorite Disney magic moment. And subscribe before you go, please. I am a budding channel. I'm still developing and growing, so it would help me so much if you would subscribe. I want to do so much more with this channel, and I'm so appreciative of the people who have subscribed at this moment. There are 170 of you. I started this year with 50, and by started this year, May of last year, I started bringing life back to my YouTube channel, and so there are 50 of you. And now there are 170, so to 120 new people, welcome on in, and I hope new people that are watching now will stick around. So, okay, I've got to go film an audition, but I love you guys so much. Bye!